Welcome back to your favorite content on the stream lately. Fucking me reacting to shit. We're gonna react to the brand new Oversimplified video, which chat has talked about so much today. Every fifth message in chat, did you see the new video? It's like, I don't know this guy so well, but it seems like when this guy uploads, people get mad. Mad crazy for it. So let's take a look. Gentlemen, before I react to videos, I always want to share what I know about the topic. We're talking about the Prohibition time, which was like in the 1920s? 1920 and shit? I don't know. Where America disallowed alcohol consumption, which led to the criminalization of alcohol, aka people making their own fucking alcohol, moonshine, the mafia were getting involved, Al Capone, shit like that. Let's take a look, get educated. In the end, this channel is full of fucking... Ooh, let's get educated. Shout out to Oversimplified. Check out the video, please link the video in the chat. Love his content, give it a thumbs up. And let's take a fucking look.
Video was made possible by Honey. Click the link below to save money on your online shopping.
His voice got more involved in a way.
Al Capone pins on sale now.
That guy got like more dull voice now.
Link in the description down below.
So, let's get educated.
Good morning, honey. What's for breakfast? The usual. 2 caskets of rum, a mug of hard cider, and a full bottle of wine. Oh boy.
Maybe different mic?
I'm running late.
Maybe just
I'll
grew.
have to take it with me. Don't forget your lunch. It's a 6-pack of beer, a flask of whiskey, 6 shots of tequila, and as a special treat...
This story is like explaining every dad ever. Oh, that's dark.
Oh, gee whiz. I'm gonna be smashed today. Enjoy your day of operating sharp, dangerous farm equipment. I can't believe this is an acceptable way to live. God bless America. Okay, gotta go. I love my life!
Huh. Prohibition.
America, the land of beautiful strip malls, top-class infrastructure, and wonderful urban sprawl.
Beautiful.
Ah, yes. Beautiful America. But what's the most American thing you can think of? This day.
Guns. Everybody, come, answer. YouTube plebs are watching this. Twitch chat, this is your time to shine. Guns, right? Guns. Burger? Yeah, not knowing how to fucking write. Pretty much guns, yeah, but guns and burgers.
Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore? A crazy lady in a mobility scooter yelling at a pigeon? Well, what if I told you the answer is alcohol? That's right. When the Puritans arrived on America's shores, they brought a ship packed with beer. George Washington provided his men with a daily cup of whiskey. Andrew Jackson's inauguration party left the White House so trashed that everybody had to be ordered outside.
Wait, really? The guy trashed the White House and had a... That is so epic, man. Dude, what a metal ad.
Frederick Douglass said whiskey made him feel like a president. Me too, Frederick. Me too. Americans drink at breakfast. Doctors prescribe their patients hard liquor. In the 19th century, Americans drank 3 times as much as their modern-day counterparts.
Man.
That's a lot of whiskey. Hey, Jerry, how's that report coming along? Already done, sir. I've also organized your paperwork, watered your flowers, and been a father figure to your children.
Another fly, dude!
What's that smell?
Dude, I gotta talk to Lisa about this. It seems like, look, we have a lot of plants in this apartment. And it seems like we always have parasites in these plants. Super annoying. And it's... You want to see a German doing a genocide? Holy shit. Look at all these dead motherfuckers. They're all from the last 24 hours, man. So this plant has to be totally infected. Oh shit. These are called Trauermücken. I don't know how to name them in English. And they lay their eggs in in the wet ground. Oh shit. And in the end, it's really annoying to save that. Lisa always makes me do it. You have to get them out. You have to take all the... You have to put off all the dirt. Only the root... Another fly. Dude. And like, you have to completely change the dirt. You have to put certain stuff on it. Holy shit. And it seems like a new generation just brooded. How to say? The new generation of these flies literally was hatched today. And the whole house is full of these flies. Fucking sucks, man. So many parasites.
Have you been drinking at work? No, sir. I would never.
Sucks, man.
Well, why
They're not from last 24 hours.
Everyone
Lies.
else is doing it.
Hey, Lisa, I'm in the fucking apartment all day, and the number of these flies has quadrupled just today in the 24 hours, man.
All my work done. You're fired! Americans drink at work. They drink at barn raisings, baptisms, and public hangings. Heavy drinking was so normal.
I mean, everybody drinks. That's the culture everywhere, man. Like Germany, alcohol is the biggest fucking religion in the world. Everybody prays to it.
Apple pie. Hi, everyone. My name's Ron, and I'm an
Like,
alcoholic.
my life was surrounded by a lot of alcohol everywhere around me.
But more and more Americans began to wonder whether all of this truly was a normal way to live. Were Americans drinking, perhaps, a little too much? Well, one group in particular thought the answer to that
Never even
was
look at the plants on your windowsill? I just did.
Love 'em.
Okay?
Woman.
I just did. Women?
Oh, crap. Woman.
They always destroy everything.
Hang on. We just want to talk. Women talking in public? That's outrageous. Come on, Fred. You've got two kids and a wife at home. Yet here you are spending your entire paycheck on booze. And you, Dr. Spanky, you were on the cusp of discovering time travel. But what did you discover instead? The sweet, sweet joys of whiskey. That's right. Alcohol. It's destroying our families, our jobs, and our homes. She's right. She's right. Hang on, men. Don't let them get to you. This saloon is our safe space where our wives and children can't annoy us with reality. To be real men. She's right. She's right. I am a man. And what is it real men do? Take care of their families.
Well, what? Real men take care of their families? Lies. We drink beer.
We shoot guns.
Shoot
and
guns.
We mud wrestle.
And vote for Trump. What the fuck are you talking about?
As America's heavy drinking ruined more and more lives, moral resistance began to arise, and women were at the forefront, taking matters into their own hands at a time when women doing just about anything was shocking. They'd had enough of being victim to their husband's heavy drinking, and they were going to do something unprecedented. You're going to what? I'm going to protest.
What? Dude.
Oh, sweetie, women can't protest.
Holy shit. Kidding me?
Starting in Ohio, before spreading nationwide, women began a crusade against alcohol. They marched through towns and cities, singing hymns, gathering outside saloons, and praying on their knees. Women praying was so terrifying that in some towns, schools were shut and business stagnated. On one
Holy
occasion,
shit, they're like
firemen
Corona.
were called out to hose down the dangerous praying women. On another, the owner of a beer garden reportedly held a cannon outside and threatened to reduce the savage women to dust. Nevertheless, they persisted. They formed the WCTU in 1874, and they organized. They set up homes for inebriate women. They installed water fountains in public parks. They wrote textbooks for school children that contained some interesting claims about drinking alcohol. Here's little Timmy. Uh-oh. Looks like Timmy's gonna have his first drink. He's taking a small sip of whiskey, and Timmy has spontaneously combusted. The end. The woman's...
Man, women saving men? What? What is this state here? Why does Texas have a line here? What is that? That makes no sense. This is wrong, right? Right. That's Oklahoma? There's a state like this? Oh, this line here is wrong, right? This line is wrong. I'm learning. Education. The line is wrong. So this line is wrong. This here is Oklahoma. Okay.
Men committed themselves to giving up drink. Inspired by the women's moral fervor, some saloon owners closed their doors. The Women's Crusade and other temperance movements were forcing people to reconsider alcohol's role in society, and more people began to side with the growing temperance movement. Many states had even begun enacting their own dry laws that restricted the sale and use of alcohol. One of them was Kansas, where alcohol had been outlawed since 1881.
Crazy what a big thing alcohol is, right?
Many illegal saloons remained open, and authorities had done just about nothing to stop them. One woman, disgusted by what she saw, decided she would take the law into her own hands.
I have to delete all the clips though because of the PMCA shit.
A terrifying, hatchet-wielding, sweet old lady named Carrie Nation. Armed with her trusty hatchet and a bag of what she called smashes, she traveled from town to town visiting saloons. But she wasn't there to get smashed. She was there to smash. The men could do nothing but cower as sweet little Carrie hulked out and tore the place to shreds. She went to Kiowa and smashy smash. Wichita, smashy smash.
This girl's actually
Topeka,
an alpha, man.
Smashy smash. On a couple of occasions, she was arrested.
Telling as many lies as Trump, you never
Carrie,
watch my old
let you
streams.
go,
You
so
don't know
long as you
anything.
promise to be a good girl and not smash up any more saloons, okay? Screw you, pig! Yeah. I think she's gonna be all right. Smash, smash, smash. Carrie's tactics shocked the other members of the Women's Christian Temperance Union, but she assured them, and this is a quote, "Ladies, you do not know how much joy you will have until you smash, smash, smash." Carrie became a household name,
actually a
and she
real
hoped her
quote,
unusual
man.
tactics would spread across
She's
the
the
country.
original
But unfortunately, many of the women's
can't be a real
movements
quote,
eventually
man. Are you
slowed
kidding me?
down. Why? Well, because of this kind of thing. Thelma, I ripped my pants again. Ugh, well, you'll have to sew them yourself because I'm going out protesting. What?
Oh my
I don't know
God,
how to
man.
sew.
This is where it
What
all
if I
started,
burn the
man.
house
Women
down
having
and get
rights
eaten
and
by
shit.
alligators? What? Don't be stupid, Mitch. Look, I've got to go. Call me stupid? She's the one who's stupid.
And then men realized they're not figuring out women and just kill themselves without them. Fuck. Sucks, bro. Dude, that's me! Fuck!
Hey, Thelma! Look who's stupid!
That's literally Lisa when she leaves the house in the morning.
No!
Oh, God.
While the women were out protesting, there was nobody to do the cooking and cleaning and being seen and not heard, and they gradually had to return to their duties at home. But where the women had got the ball rolling, a new movement was about to take that ball all the way to Washington, D.C. I'm talking about the Anti-Saloon League. The Anti-Saloon League was a political pressure group run by a very sweet-looking old man. But don't let that deceive you. This guy was an evil genius. While the women's movements were interested in a whole range of issues, Wayne Wheeler and the Anti-Saloon League only cared about enemy number one, Mr. Alcohol. And as a result, they were extremely effective. They were able to exploit the fears of the American people. And I mean everyone's fears. Here's how they did it. Hello, sir. Welcome to the Liberal Progressive Rally. Why don't you introduce yourself? Well, I'm Patty, and I'm an immigrant from Ireland. And tell me, Patty, do you drink? Oh yes, I drink a lot. See, folks, people like Patty come here looking for a better life, only to end up drunk in the gutter. Don't worry, sir. We're gonna help you.
But he's Irish. It's in his blood, actually.
I just need you for one more thing. Hey, Christian conservatives.
Still here, still love you. Mwah.
Patty. He's a dirty Catholic Irish immigrant who's come to destroy America with his alcohol-fueled debauchery! Workers were told alcohol was a capitalist ploy to keep them subjugated. Factory owners were told alcohol was making their irresponsible workers lazy. The black community was warned alcohol was hindering its progress, while racists were warned alcohol would turn black men into brutes. In one of the most confusing eras of American politics, totally opposing groups found themselves agreeing on at least one thing. Alcohol was bad. The Anti-Saloon League also made great use of propaganda, something prohibitionists had been doing for decades. Take this specimen, for example, that warns what will happen to you if you start drinking. Let's see. First you take a drink, you get a little rowdy, okay. You make some new friends, nice. Then you become homeless. You turn to crime, and... But the most effective tactic Wheeler used to force prohibition on America was pressure politics. In any election he could, Wheeler very successfully rounded up support against any politician who was in favor of alcohol. In Ohio alone, he had 70 state representatives and the popular Republican governor ousted from office and replaced with prohibitionists. Suddenly,
clever, man.
Every politician in America was afraid of Wayne Wheeler. Even those who enjoyed alcohol in private began pretending to be against it in public. Alcohol is delicious. Malicious. Sorry, Wayne.
When is Al Capone coming in?
Then it really hit the fan in 1917, when America found fighting in the First World War against Germany. Anti-German sentiment exploded. Sauerkraut became Liberty cabbage. German measles became Liberty measles. And Dachshunds became the embodiment of evil.
Oh, God.
See, America? You've always been this way.
The
biggest brewers in America were German, and Wheeler saw to it that drinking alcohol became akin to pro-German treason. The German brewers desperately tried to fight back, creating their own propaganda, presenting beer as a healthy beverage, one that you could even...
A healthy drink at the biggest fucking belly ever. Has to be Bavarian, man.
To your kids, as you can imagine.
The fucking baby is fucking drinking the beer. Dude, this is fucking real life Germany, bro.
It didn't go down well.
Oh,
President Wilson instituted some temporary wartime prohibition measures to save grain for food. And with many in the country now in support of prohibition, all that was left was to make it law. One problem was that taxes on alcohol made up nearly 40% of the US government's annual...
40% of the income is alcohol. It's like we're in fucking Russia, man. What the hell?
Revenue. And the government wasn't just about to give that up. No problem.
So here we go.
The Anti-Saloon League helped lobby for the creation of a new income tax on the American people. And just like that, the government was no longer reliant on alcohol. Prohibition was finally introduced to Congress in 1913, not just as a law, but a constitutional amendment. In 1917, as the House held their final vote on the Prohibition Amendment, Wheeler was watching from the gallery. You spineless cowards. I know half of you drink, yet here you are bowing down to Ned Flanders up there. Look at him, like he's some kind of Caesar. Ugh, don't be so dramatic. I obviously don't think I'm Caesar. Now release the lion. House easily. 282 votes to 128, and the states ratified the new amendment by 1919. America, a nation obsessed with liberty and freedom, had just voluntarily given up its private right to choose whether or not to drink.
I'm always looking at these states and I always realize as a European I know nothing, man. Washington, California, Nevada, Utah, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Florida, South and North Dakota, New York. That's it.
Alcohol. We did it, folks. We fixed everything. America will be perfect forever. But you just dissolved America's fifth largest industry and lost tens of thousands of jobs for us immigrants. No, you idiot. You don't get it. We helped you, idiot. Ugh, I could really go for a beer. Oh, no. Immediately after Prohibition went into effect, alcohol consumption in America decreased as Americans followed the law and tried not drinking. Man, if we're gonna be law-abiding good boys, we need something else to fill the dark, lonely void that delicious beer once did. Well, how about
that's the thing, right? I've been around alcohol my whole life, especially talking about my dad, right? And I always felt like I've been around so many alcoholics, especially supermarkets, so many alcoholics, dude. And I always felt like alcoholics, hardcore alcoholics, they're hiding in inner pain. There's something deep inside of them. They will never talk toxic masculinity. You don't talk about your problems. That they drown with alcohol, man. Charlie Sheen once said in 2.5 Men, where the little kid said, "Why do you drink alcohol?" He said, "Because there's don't ever drink alcohol. It's poison." And then the little kid said, "Why do you drink it?" And Charlie Sheen said, "I'll never forget that, because that was a deep line. Because there's something inside of me I have to kill." So even though I always feel like even if you take away alcohol from the public and you do a prohibition, these people still need something that puts this darkness away. Some other drug, some other thing, man.
Of water.
Something.
Hell yeah. Toss it over.
What if Germany banned alcohol?
Nah, this isn't doing it for me.
What? You can't say
this
Georgia?
Isn't filling the dark void at all. Want to play some kites? Screw it. Let's go get some illegal beer. Well, it seemed like many Americans supported Prohibition.
So many people must have gotten rich in Prohibition, man.
It seemed like just as many Americans intended to keep on drinking, and they would go on to find a variety of ways to break the new law. Here's a question for you. Do you like breaking the law? Well, shame on you. Or do you like saving money when you shop online? Then you should use Honey. Do you ever shop
Honey?
in store?
Dude, actually, especially during Christmas, you need this app. Lisa, you know this app? You know Honey?
You'd rather
every time you can put a code on a website, you just use your Honey app and it gives you codes so you save money, man.
Yet, you can
really
save
clever,
money
actually.
Shop online with Honey. Honey is a free
your message wasn't posted to the conflict with the channel moderation settings. Georgia is banned in my chat?
Checking out. Look at me. I'm buying a Baby Yoda smartwatch to increase my chances
Baby
of getting a girlfriend.
Yoda smartwatch.
And look, this Magic Dancing Coin Man has a promo code for me.
It's $75? Holy man, that's actually insane, man.
75 cents.
$75?
Ladies. And guess what?
Kidding me?
Those of you who've already
he makes good commercials. He makes good commercials, but everybody knows I make the best.
$247,000 in savings.
Georgia is
so
definitely
what are the rest
banned.
of you waiting for, you big dumb stinky idiots? It's free and can be easily.
It's not Baby Yoda. His name is
in
Grogu.
2 clicks.
Did you just
so
fucking
get Honey
spoil
for free
that?
today by going to joinhoney.com/oversimplified.
I didn't watch Mandalorian
That's
yet.
joinhoney.com/oversimplified.
Oh, it's unbanned now. You can't say
always,
Georgia now.
You'll be supporting my channel.
Why is that banned?
So thank you. Now where were we?
I was trying to control Tommy and found the glitch in the Matrix.
Passing Prohibition, and procuring.
Buckwin, do you play Cyberpunk? And what's your opinion on it if you play it?
Pretty soon after the new law
The way I
went
know
into effect,
Buckwindow is
the
playing
villains of
some
Prohibition
monkey game.
were already beginning to
Doesn't
rear
even care
their
about
ugly
Cyberpunk.
heads. For starters, the details of the new Prohibition law, written by none other than Wayne Wheeler himself,
This guy had so
turned
much
out to be
power.
more draconian than expected. Many
Volstead
Prohibition
Act.
supporters only wanted to outlaw hard liquor and hoped beer would remain legal, but the Volstead Act outlawed anything over 0.5%. That would
Okay,
make
Bucky.
Liberty Cabbage illegal. Secondly, the new law was full of loopholes that Americans very quickly.
Buckwin, man, I face to face. For years I said this. I would love to join one of your games. Just chill, you know, not esports. I'm gonna just as a minor nation, joining one of your games, having fun, man. Just having fun. I hope one day you're gonna hit me up with a little message and be like, Tommy, this Friday at 8 p.m. whatever, we're gonna meet up. I would love to get a little invite, bro. I would love to play with you.
Began to exploit.
Just a
For
minor
example,
power.
While the sale and
fucking chilling
manufacture
out.
of liquor was illegal, drinking it wasn't. And you could also keep any alcohol.
Like, I want to be a minor power on the Buckwin. I would love that. Like, he's, I don't know, USA, I play Brazil, or he's England and I'm fucking South Africa. If he plays Japan, I'd play Manchukuo. I would love that.
The law went
You can
into
be
effect.
Slovakia to
So
my
many
Germany.
private clubs hoarded
Let's
huge
calm down,
amounts
okay?
of alcohol
Calm
and
down.
saw
But
them
send
through
me a
the
message. Tell
entire
me when, man.
Prohibition period. Whiskey intended for medicinal purposes was also allowed, and doctors basically became bartenders.
Tommy wants Bo to
It looked
dominate
as
him. Have
though
you
a
seen Bo?
full-on
He's sexy as
epidemic
fuck.
had broken out, as there was a sudden surge in prescriptions for whiskey. Sacramental wines used by churches and synagogues were also permitted. Orders for communion wines suspiciously
They all went
skyrocketed
to
by
church to
millions
get
of
drunk.
gallons.
Oh.
And as rabbis had access to religious wine, suddenly everyone was becoming a rabbi.
Thank you,
had
Major
Rabbi
man.
Pat O'Leary, Rabbi LL Cool J, Rabbi Fluffy. But don't worry, I'm sure all these definitely legitimate religious figures couldn't possibly be selling wine in the back alley after mass. Yep,
They made so
definitely
much money
nothing
on the
strange
side,
going
man.
on here. New
That shows
products also hit
Prohibition is
the
not
shelves in
working so well.
stores,
That's why you
such
should
as
legalize
Vine
weed,
Glow, a
man.
brick of
They're just gonna have
dehydrated grape
underground
juice, itself not
selling
alcoholic,
structures
and
anyway.
therefore perfectly legal. But the packaging did contain a strangely specific warning. After dissolving the brick in a gallon of water, do not place the liquid in a jug in the cupboard for 20 days, because then it would turn into wine. I'll take 1,000. Yes, sir. Now,
genius.
at this point, I want you to think back for me, if you will, to the year 2005. You're
Congress
the
is
coolest kid
voting
around,
actually on
and you convince
legalizing
your parents
weed?
to rent
When?
the greatest movie of all time from your local blockbuster.
But I have a question. Oh, I'm pausing too much. Lisa gets mad. I mean, we might not be able to finish this. I was hearing in the radio that Georgia or maybe Georgia. Is it Georgia? We just talked about it. Is voting for 2 House representatives. And if Biden wins them, then the Democrats have the House or something. Something like that.
A car?
Actually, Georgia, we just talked about it. Is that they're voting for 2 senators? Yeah. Is the vote already over? Because that was like 2 days ago.
You immediately disregard that.
They will not win though. It's very Republican, 70%
the greatest
Republicans,
song of all
right?
time, and in the process, drain your dad's bank account with copious amounts of ransomware.
Yeah, the
You
Republicans
were
should
breaking
block
the
it. It's
law,
good
you
for
bad
democracy.
boy or girl. But did anyone come to arrest you?
If not one party has all the
No.
power.
That's my point. If no one's enforcing a law, while everyone's breaking it, is it really a law? And so it was with Prohibition. See, the conservative-led governments of the decade were also the kind of people who believed in small government spending.
I don't have
so
beer,
they
man.
passed a law that would be extremely difficult to enforce, but
It's
also
January
didn't want to
5th,
spend
oh.
any of the money required to enforce it. The newly created Bureau of Prohibition only had
There had to be
1,500
a lot of
agents
corrupt
to cover
cops
the
that day
entire
that looked the other
country.
way.
That's one agent for every 70,666
That's like doctors in Germany.
Americans in a massive country with 12,000 miles of coastline and one gigantic land border with Canada.
Yeah, have
Good
fun.
luck, schmuckos.
Yeah,
and all
have
these
fun.
clever
Build
little
a wall.
loopholes people were using to score illegal booze were only just the beginning. America was about to devolve into alcohol-fueled criminal chaos. By outlawing it, Prohibition had made alcohol a precious commodity, and millions of Americans would become outlaws as they found a variety of ways to score illegal booze. For example, many Americans began making their own liquor.
do you
Illegal
even
stills
make
from
liquor?
making moonshine were found by Prohibition agents from the hills of Kentucky and the caves of Arizona to parking lots in major cities, and even in the homes of Prohibition-supporting politicians. Oh, come on now, fellas, I voted for...
That's like the Hungarian guy who is against gay laws and then he had a fucking gay fiesta with like 30 people, man. These people are fucking hypocrites, dude.
Prohibition. I'm not gonna have an illegal still. What's this? That's my son, Freddy. Say hi, Freddy. Sir, this is obviously an illegal still. How dare you? Hey, what's this in the bathtub? That's bath water. Why does it taste like alcohol? Here's a better question. Why are you tasting my bathwater? Weirdo. Come on, Freddy. Let's get away from these perverts. To discourage moonshining, the government began adding extra toxins
no,
to
they're
many of
putting
the
it all
products
away.
moonshiners were using, which resulted in many cases
Moonshining means, I learned that, you call illegal, privately made alcohol moonshined alcohol because it was made in the moonshine of the
of
night.
severe illness and
That's
death.
why it's moonshine.
But alcohol wasn't just being made at home.
I think.
Along America's vast coastlines, rum runners smuggled alcohol into the country by sea. A floating supermarket known as Rum Row extended along the East Coast just beyond America's maritime limit, and bootleggers frequently sailed out in small boats to pick up shipments of booze. These bootleggers could then be found selling their illegal products everywhere, even in the holes of Congress. Wow, Pop. One day, I want to work here. Well, son, if you work hard and never give up, one day even you could be a massive hypocrite. Even President Harding was known to serve his cabinet bootlegged whiskey, and some bootleggers were so successful, they became bazillionaires, such as Roy Olmsted, an ex-cop who became one of the biggest employers in the Seattle area from smuggling booze. Unfortunately, all of
Clever,
his
man,
whiskey
very
came from
clever.
Canada. Yuck. All of this criminality was being made possible by copious amounts of corruption. Across the country, armies of government officials were persuaded to turn a blind eye. Bootleggers became so rich, it was no problem to stuff a couple $1,000s into the front pocket of the police chief, or the mayor, or their disapproving mother. And some
That's how
cops
it
were getting
fucking
almost
works, bro.
as rich as the bootleggers.
That's the world.
All right, men. Everyone
When is
gather
Al Capone
in. I've
coming
received
in?
word that one of you has been taking bribes from bootleggers. Any ideas who? Kevin, perhaps. Got any thoughts? No, sir. Many police...
When I see this picture, man, I once told the story.
Any ideas who?
I have to
Kevin.
actually, man, Lisa's waiting. I once told this story where when I was working in the supermarket, we had a security guard, right, at the supermarket. He will come twice a month to defend us, twice a month. And he was kind of mafia stuff. and one day a package with 2,000 euros has been stolen. It's a long story. I told the story once. I wanted to get in it, but in the end, it seems like unprovenly that the security guard stole the $2,000. So he stole the $2,000. Everybody's losing their jobs, including my brother. Long story. And like some weeks later, I'm chilling with my brother on the couch. Right, he literally lost his job because of that guy, because he was the boss of the supermarket at the time. And we're checking out the Facebook of this person, right? And man, he's on vacation, man. He has the fucking vacation of his life. He's in a fucking resort, a nice hotel, man. He kind of looked like this guy, bro. Like this motherfucker over here. You can't really see him on stream. No, you can.
Perhaps. Got
like, man.
No, sir. Many police officers
not even trying to hide it, bro.
That drank a lot, and they weren't about to arrest
that
their
piece
own
of shit, man. He never got his justice.
Homemade gin. But all this isn't to say there was no enforcement. Plenty of government officials were doing their best to enforce the new laws, and some unlucky individuals received very harsh penalties, such as a Michigan mother who was sentenced to life in prison for small-scale moonshining.
Dude.
Cases like these were widely reported in the media and only served to make Prohibition even more unpopular. But not just that. The media also loved to cover the exploits of the most famous bootleggers, turning them into national icons. One of the biggest bootleggers was a man named George Remus. Originally a lawyer, he watched as his bootlegger clients paid off enormous fines like it was nothing, and proclaimed bootlegging the business for me. But unlike most bootleggers, Remus had big brain, and he came up with a pretty clever system. See, there were millions of gallons of liquor produced before Prohibition that were sitting in distillery warehouses, and it could only be sold with government permission to drug companies. So Remus set up his own drug company and bottled the liquor. Then he set up his own transport company to transport the liquor. And then he would send his own men out with guns to intercept his own transport vehicles. And this would happen. Hey man, this is a stick-up. Oh no, please don't hurt me. I won't hesitate to shoot. Please, I have a wife and kids. Hand over all the whiskey, Fatty. Hey! Fatty isn't in the script, you jerk! After stealing all the whiskey
it's
from
so
himself,
interesting how human beings find loopholes and are very intelligent about this stuff, man. Sometimes make you think, right, as a basic worker, man, I wake up every morning, go to my shitty job, pay my taxes, while these people are getting rich criminal terms, man.
Bucks. The perfect
it's
crime.
Clever, man.
Unfortunately,
it's clever, bro.
Remus was eventually caught by a goody two-shoes Prohibition director in Indiana who wouldn't take Remus's bribes, and the government found Remus guilty of violating the Volstead Act 3,000 times. For 2 years, as Remus sat in prison, his wife promised to take care of all of his money. And by take care of his money, she meant have an affair with a Prohibition agent, sell off everything Remus owned, and file for divorce. When Remus finally got out and found his big fancy mansion empty with his wife gone, he reportedly broke down in tears. A few months later, during their divorce trial, he spotted his wife in a car in Cincinnati. Remus hopped in a cab and asked the driver to run her off the road. The driver was like, okay. Then Remus got out of the cab and shot his wife.
What?
Dead. He immediately
someone should make a movie about this guy.
And his next trial, this time for murder, became a national sensation. Remus defended himself, claiming insanity, occasionally carrying out
this guy's wrote a movie like with fucking Martin Scorsese as director and Leonardo DiCaprio and shit, man.
But the nation felt bad for him. His wife had screwed him over, and so when after just 19 minutes of deliberation, the jury returned and declared him not guilty, the court erupted into celebration.
That's crazy, man. He's not guilty?
This guy bluntly admitted to murdering his wife.
Dude, America's the biggest fucking clown show in the world, I swear to God.
As alcohol poured into the nation, a lot of it was going to a new type of drinking establishment that had been booming in popularity. A secret drinking establishment. So secret that from the outside they often looked like ordinary shops or homes. So secret that you usually needed a password to get in. So secret that everybody knew about them. Speakeasies. And once you were in, the party went all night long. Scantily clad flappers, snake ladies, jazz. It was
like I'm always talking about, right? It would be so nice for us to go back in time and experience this stuff. I would love to be there for one night, just what is the culture in there? How do these people party, man? Must be so interesting.
Reviews of these illegal clubs and bribes galore
must be so sick
kept
in
the
there.
Party going. It seemed like half the police officers and federal agents in cities like New York were receiving kickbacks from speakeasy owners. Hey, what the Kevin Costner is going on here? Officer O'Hannity, taking bribes? Why am I not surprised? Prohibition director Simmons? For shame. Mom? What would Dad say? Ask him yourself. Dad would say, quit being such a wet blanket and let Daddy earn his tips.
Does this make you want to
Anytime
play?
a speakeasy was shut down by a
Does this make you want to play Empire of Sin again? This morning I walked around the streets and I saw a dog poop on the streets. And then I had like this little notion of, should I play Empire of Sin again? But I wasn't.
It seemed like 3 more would just pop up elsewhere. And some neighborhoods were so full of
Maybe
them
that's
that one
why
resident
they
began
deleted me from
hanging a sign
CK3.
to try to keep partygoers from
I'm
constantly
so
knocking
hardcore.
on her door. It really seemed like the new laws regarding alcohol, in some places, were simply being ignored. And one Prohibition agent who traveled the country liked to see which city was the most defiant by timing how long it took for him to be offered a beer after he arrived. His winner? New Orleans, where a cab driver offered him a drink after just 35 seconds. Bravo! Many voices in Congress were already speaking out against Prohibition and its failures. To display how ridiculous the whole thing was, one Republican congressman gathered the media to all come and watch him drink a homemade beer. When he asked a passing police officer if he'd like to arrest him, the officer said no. Hey Wayne, is all this what you had in mind? I thought we were gonna make the country better, but it almost seems like it's
that was
worse.
a
What do you
big
mean?
fuck up,
Alcohol
man.
consumption is down. Well, that may be true in your small town world, but it says here drinking in some areas is up, as are arrests for public intoxication, drunk driving, and incidents of liver cirrhosis. The general chaos has turned America into a nation of criminals with no respect for the law, and all these attempts at enforcement are just costing the economy valuable money and eating up judicial time and resources. Release the lines.
Just like
The
weed.
social change and
A lot of these
corruption
arguments
that
can be
Wheeler
used
and
on
the
the
anti-saloon league had been
legalization of
so
weed.
eager to prevent, in the cities at least, was surging. See, when something's legal, you can usually regulate and control it. But make that thing illegal, and often anything becomes fair game. Legal drinking age, gone. Mandatory closing hours for clubs and bars, gone. Other unspoken
Same with
sociocultural
cocaine.
rules surrounding
Let's not
alcohol,
go that far.
gone, gone, gone. In speakeasies, different genders and ethnicities were beginning to mingle in a way they hadn't done before. The Roaring Twenties saw a monumental shift in culture.
Dude, in a weird way then, this is so crazy, right? The Prohibition helped the society come more together?
Because now men and women could flirt in public without being damned for eternity.
So
An
cool.
outraged Wayne Wheeler did his best to make sure that anyone breaking the law was punished. He had even stricter legislation put in place in New York. But all this did was clog up the justice system with petty drinking violations, and judges began letting everyone off with light
Just
fines.
like with
So the
weed, man.
judges
These
could
people
get
don't
back
have
to
time for
dealing
this
with
shit.
things that actually mattered. You know, things like murder. And there was plenty of murder. Because bootleggers and moonshiners were one thing, but Prohibition had given another kind of criminal an opportunity to
Mafia.
make a fortune. Mobsters and gangsters. Hey, Fat Tony, big news. Hey, Fat Joey, what's up? I just got word from Fat Louie here that the government's outlawing alcohol. You know what that means. That means we're
Where's
gonna be
Alfonso?
rich. Quick, call Fat Polly and let's go hijack a liquor truck now. All right. Hang on, let me tell my wife first. Hey, Fat Susan! No pizza for Fat Joey tonight, capiche? Stop calling me Fat Susan! Come on!
Stop whacking my balls!
Rival
Hey,
gangs
forget
began to battle
about
in
it!
America's cities, raiding each other's transports, assassinating rivals, and trying to take control
This
of
is
the
Empire of
city's
Sin
illicit
pretty much,
booze
just
trade.
better.
Every city
I need
had
to
its
stop
top
that, it's
dog.
not fair.
Detroit had the Purple Gang. New England had Charles King Solomon. But no
King
city was as
Solomon.
infamous for gang violence and
Dude, is Charles King Solomon? The first thing I think about this guy is Alfie Solomon's based on him? I thought for a second that maybe Alfie Solomon's was
murder as
based on him. He's not.
The city had multiple gang factions, and at first, they agreed to stay in their own neighborhoods. But the thing about criminals is that they're criminals, and the agreements inevitably broke down. One day, the leader of the Italian Southside gang was walking along the street when this happened. And he was like, you know, I think I'm done with this, and left for New York, leaving his crime empire to his chief enforcer. none
There it
other
is,
than
dude.
Al Capone. Having been knifed in the face in his younger years, Capone earned himself the name Scarface. Although interestingly,
Scarface
he hated
is based on that
nickname
shit,
and
dude.
preferred to be called Snorky. Snorky was ruthless, just like any other gang leader in America. But what set him apart from others, the reason he's become synonymous with 1920s gang warfare, is this. Most other gang leaders would try to keep a low profile because, you know, they're killing and murdering and stuff. But Capone lived for the fame and kept an extremely high public profile, frequently speaking with the media about his exploits and presenting himself as a gracious host, providing Chicago with good times. No need to thank me, fellas. I just provide the city with a valuable commodity.
Well, but it's so
while
cool if they
doing
already had
away with the
interviews back then,
competition.
like
You mean you
video,
murder
and you
people?
could like see this guy
Whoa,
talk.
Who said anything about murder? I just, you know, force my rivals underground. When you do the thing with the hands, it seems like you're talking about murder. Whoa, look at you with the brains. No, I just help people retire from life. So murder. Whoa!
Al Capone once gave my
Al
grandpa a
Capone was
quarter.
somewhat of an enigma, brutal in how he dealt with enemies.
kinda believe
In front
you,
of the
'cause that's so
camera, he was all
specific, man.
smiles. One day, he'd be ordering hit after hit. The next, he'd be signing autographs in Wrigley Field. One day, he'd be bludgeoning
he's just
members
like
of his
the
own gang
first
with a
real
baseball
modern
bat for
politician in a
conspiring
way.
against him. The next, he'd be playing Santa at a nearby parochial
Yeah.
school. And no murder could ever be traced back to him. Just like every other criminal, he stuffed the pockets of city officials with cold, hard cash. And any who did try to oppose him sometimes found themselves being thrown down the steps of City Hall in broad daylight. Problem solved. The public couldn't get enough of Capone. He quickly became a household name as people romanticized
Get him
the
on
gang
Joe
life
Rogan.
he lived. And this became a source of concern for the
So
people at
Al,
the
did
very
you ever
top.
try DMT?
President Hoover? Ugh, what is it now, Miles? I'm busy. Well, it's just that there's a lot of crime, sir. Crime? How long's that been happening? Well, since the dawn of man, sir. What? Would you like me to blame it on the Democrats again? No, Miles. I want you to blame it on squirrels. Yes, the Democrats. Now
Trump
stop
would go to
wasting
Joe
my
Rogan?
time.
That'd be
Since having a
interesting,
crime
man.
lord
Very
controlling public
interesting.
officials and winning the hearts of the people probably wasn't a good thing. Hoover personally ordered that something be done about this Capone fellow. But before he knew it, President Hoover was also dealing with another major problem. You know him. You love him. Woman. The Prohibition era had been going on for nearly a decade, and anyone
Always
with a
women,
brain
man.
could see that it really wasn't going very well. One person
Back in
with
the
a
day, there was
brain
cocaine in the cola.
Pauline
Yeah, yeah,
Sabin, an extremely influential and rich woman who served on the Republican National Committee, fundraised for Republican presidents, and had a secret wine room in her giant mansion. She initially supported Prohibition, but was now disgusted at the chaos it had created, and she began a new women's movement, this time not for Prohibition, but against it. Being the extremely influential woman
Women
she
never know
was,
what they
her
want,
new
right?
organization gained nearly 1.5 million members within 2 years, 5 times that of the Women's Christian Temperance Union. She hated that the WCTU claimed to speak for all women, and she began calling for the repeal of the 18th Amendment. President Hoover, I helped fund your campaign, and now I want you to end Prohibition. Miles, what is it I say when I'm not going to do anything? You'll look into it, sir. Oh yeah, that's right. Pauline? I'll look into it. Sabin gave speeches on the steps of Congress and helped
these
start a
videos
growing
are
push
amazing,
among the
man.
American people against
No wonder he
Prohibition.
takes months
But
for
Hoover,
these.
a prohibitionist himself, wasn't budging. Then, on the 14th of February 1929, something happened that shocked the nation. Men, thought to be working for Al Capone, tricked some Irish mobsters into meeting them at a garage in Chicago, thinking they were there to purchase hijacked whiskey. Instead, the mobsters were lined up against the wall by men dressed as police, and they were shot. The Valentine's Day Massacre had people outraged. It was cruel and almost felt like
Why is there
American
a picture
mobsters
of it?
had finally
That's
crossed
always
the
the question.
line.
Why would there be a picture of that massacre? Is this just a fucking fake photo afterwards? Why would there be a picture?
People were sick of the violence, and in part, they blamed Prohibition for helping to create it.
Poor
The
Irish
pressure
fellas.
on Hoover to do something
It was a recreation.
steadily increasing.
Yeah.
Fine. Miles, I want you to put a report together to see if this whole thing is working. You mean the thing where mobsters are becoming increasingly powerful and massacring each other in the streets and everyone is disregarding the law and half our public
It's like
officials
we're in
are
Italy,
corrupt
man.
and
What's
taking
up?
bribes? That thing? Yeah, I want to know if it's working or not, Miles. Stop wasting my time. Hoover continued to drag his feet on Prohibition, but after the Valentine's Day Massacre, he was still determined to do one thing. He wanted Al Capone in prison. Since Capone had been so careful, the FBI were having a hard time charging him with anything, but eventually, they got him. Capone, we know you're supplying Chicago with alcohol and you've been involved in countless murders. Whoa, look at you with the crazy talk. I ain't done none of that stuff. But you're rich, right? You're damn right I am. And so where'd all the money come from, Capone? All right, I'll let you in on a little secret, but you gotta promise not to tell anyone, okay? I don't pay my taxes.
That's how they fucking get you, fam.
For
They
all of his
get
murder,
all the
IRS
fuckers like
finally
that,
got
bro.
Capone on tax evasion.
You can kill motherfuckers, you can rape and pillage, man, if you don't pay your fucking tax with the IRS. The biggest mafia in the world, IR motherfucking yes, is gonna get your
He
head,
didn't
bro.
seem too concerned though, and spent most of his time having a laugh with his lawyers. Hey Capone, I gotta know, why are you so confident you're gonna win here? Well, Your Honor, because I'm an honest man with a big heart who's passionate about working for the good of the people. And also because I threatened the entire jury's families. Luckily, at the last minute, the judge replaced the entire jury pool with a new one that Capone's
Clever.
men hadn't yet got to, and Capone was found guilty.
A great example also why I personally always felt that jury system is such a joke. It's unbelievable to me how you still have a jury system. It's an old medieval bullshit thing, man. It's crazy to me.
He was sentenced
That-
to
that-
11
that
years
subject
in
we'll talk
federal
about for a long
prison,
time.
The harshest
The
penalty
jury
ever
system
given
is
to a tax
unbelievable
evader.
to me.
But even with Capone locked away, the violence in Chicago and other cities continued. And in response, the movement against Prohibition continued to grow. And the final nail in Prohibition's coffin came in 1929. After a decade of booming economic growth under 3 Republican presidents, the stock
Black
market
Friday.
plummeted, and America was thrown into the grips of the Great Depression. It was an awful time. 1 out of every 5 workers 15 million people would lose their jobs. Half
This
the
is like
nation's
2020,
banks
man.
failed. Temporary shanty
is
towns were
Corona.
built for the broken homeless in public parks. Suddenly, very few people had time to care about prohibition. Expensive enforcement of an unenforceable law didn't seem like that big of a priority when people were having their homes repossessed and losing their life savings. And many began to argue that repealing prohibition would create vital jobs and tax revenue for the government. Yet President Hoover doubled down.
Wait, it's not
Here's
Black
that
Friday?
report
What's
you
it called?
asked for,
Black
sir.
Thursday?
Yep.
Ah, something black.
Prohibition is great. Fantastic news.
Muhammad Ali will say, why are negative days always called black? He will actually say
Sir,
that.
It says your
Muhammad Ali
prohibition is
will always
great
say that.
at undermining the rule of law in America. Miles, it says the word great. That means good. Now stop wasting my time! The public, increasingly shocked at the violence they saw in the streets, the corruption they saw in the government, the general disregard for the law, and now an economic calamity, had enough. For his re-election, Hoover faced a Democratic candidate who promised to finally do something
Delano
about
Roosevelt, right?
prohibition. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Frankie.
Crowds cheered as FDR made his campaign speeches promising to modify the Volstead Act. And Pauline Sabin, a lifelong Republican, along with her 1.5 million supporters,
I don't know much about American
endorsed
presidents, but
Roosevelt.
FDR was like a
And on
really
election
good
day,
president, right?
It was a landslide. Before FDR had even taken office.
Wow! Holy moly! Look at that! Oh, dude, back in the day when the elections were actually clear. Holy shit!
Republicans
What a
in
win!
Congress began the
One of the
process
best.
of passing the 21st
I mean, the guy kind of won
Amendment to
World War II,
repeal
man.
prohibition. One
New
of
Deal and
FDR's
shit.
first acts as president was to
Fixing
pass
the Great
Beer
Depression.
Permit Act, which made beer legal while the new
He was
amendment
like
was
four
being
terms.
ratified. In 1933, with the passage of the
Stop the
21st
count.
Amendment, prohibition was finally over, and the people celebrated like they'd just won a world war. Bars and taverns were packed. The WCTU were inconsolable. Wayne Wheeler was dead, and the celebration, particularly in America's cities, was intense. Heading into the mid-1930s, the effects of prohibition were clear to see. From
His
now
election
on,
was even
culture
better. He won
around drinking
all
had
except
changed,
one state.
with men and women drinking together.
I wonder why.
not
I don't
in
want to get into
saloons,
this right now.
but
I
in
actually have
bars
to
and
quit the
taverns.
stream here, man.
The
I'm
crime
totally over
syndicates
time.
that had been given so much power through prohibition remained powerful as they moved on to other things.
Hey, move to
Some states
the good
opted
stuff,
to remain
hey.
dry, with Oklahoma only repealing its prohibition laws in 1959.
Oh,
To this
Oklahoma didn't
day,
have prohibition
there are still
till
counties in
59.
America with some form of prohibition. So what did we learn today, kids? What's the big lesson here? What's the moral of this story that we can all take away
Well,
and apply to our
I
day-to-day
wanna hear.
lives? Maybe that you shouldn't force your own morals on others who don't share them? Maybe that if you tell Americans not to do something, that's the one thing they'll definitely do. Or maybe there is no lesson. Maybe
Trump's
we're all
not
just a
gonna
bunch
win.
of dumb, stinky idiots, and we're all doomed. The end.
Very clever. Very clever, guys. Can you please post the link again, man? Big shout out to Oversimplified. It's obviously a big privilege that I can react to this. Shout out to him, man. Check out his sponsor and everything. No work for today because I didn't want to do shitty Bulgarian sheets, but maybe tomorrow, man. I'm back for a full stream tomorrow. Check out Twitter. Check out some t-shirts down below. Also, please check out the second YouTube channel, TommyKay, where you can right now watch the first episode of Cyberpunk. Show some love there. You can even watch an episode of Empire of Sin there. Have a good evening, guys. I love you. I will watch Harry Potter now. I see you tomorrow, guys. Guys? Babes. Babes and guys. You are my buys. Bye-bye, guys. Don't drink too much.
She got a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad.